Grab a six pack, sit back and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Dashers podcast. Grab a six pack, sit back and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Dashers podcast. Grab a six pack, sit back and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Dashers podcast. Grab a six pack, sit back and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Dashers podcast. Sit back to the back of the back of the grab a six pack, sit back to the back of the back of the grab a six pack, sit back to the back of the back of the grab a six pack, sit back to the back of the back of the grab a six pack, sit back to prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Dashers podcast. Grab a six pack, sit back to prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Dashers.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 224 of the Drunk Dashers podcast. I'm your host, as always, Tyler. And I don't know why I said it like that. That was weird. But anyways, joining me, I threw myself off now for my intro. Joining me with the man, the myth, the legend himself, we have Sir Colonel Gables. What's up, buddy?
Hey, Tyler. This has been one hell of a week. And it kind of topped itself off with this Friday being particularly just unusually exciting. And I'll tell you why. Because my workplace, I finally got back after being off on vacation. And some things have changed here. Some people have been let go. Some hired and stuff. But today was the kind of coup de grace. You see, today, we had a customer come into the store. He basically stole a bike that was in the front of the store. So, here's what happened.
Can I ask real quick, did he ride off on it, or did he push it?
He did ride off on it.
Okay.
But
damn it.
Here's the story of revolving this. The cashier up front recognizes the dude that steals the bike. So basically, this guy had been a regular customer that shopped around for the past who knows how long. So she watches as he jumps on the bike. Now the bike in and of itself is like a mountain bike. It's sort of grayish and stuff. It was pretty like almost a new mountain bike they were charging $100 for.
Okay.
So he hops on the bike. He rides out, and obviously she reports it to the cops and stuff like that. That bike had been stolen from the local Goodwill, blah blah blah, and so on and so forth. Now, as luck would have it, as she is telling the cop what this guy looks like, the officer actually notices this same dude is riding on the bike right past the cop car. So, what the cop did is, he didn't just pull him over or anything else like that. He followed him all the way home to his residency. And when the cop got out of his car and went to go inside of his house, he saw the dude take a hairdryer and try to melt off the sale tag that was on the bike. So, long story short, the dude fucking tried to get away with a bike, did not realize the cop had hightailed him all the way home. He got caught red-handed trying to peel off the sticker, so he was trying to get rid of the evidence, but he could not get rid of the evidence because he was dumb as shit. And basically, by the end of the day, we got our bike back, and we repriced it. It's on the sale floor again, but, so, the moral of the story right here is, one, if you're going to steal from a place, you better not be a regular fucking shopper, because, one, they're going to be recognized almost immediately. Two, if you do steal a bike, for God's sakes, do not go forth and freaking, right in front of cop cars on the damn thing.
Or just ride it in general, just put it in a car, then take it home? Maybe
I know. I just can't believe the fact that this dude, this robber, this thief, pretty much goes forth. He doesn't realize that there's a cop following him all the way to his house, and basically gets busted. Well, to try to, peel off a fucking Goodwill sticker. I mean, you can't write this type of stuff. That's something you hear about and read about online, or watch it on a movie, or watch it on YouTube, or whatsoever. But no, this is real life. Any other place, any other city and stuff, this thing probably would not have been, not have happened, as readily or something like that. No, but this story was it just aligned itself just right to where it's this man is a special kind of stupid.
Yeah.
So, obviously, they arrested the dude, and obviously the store was going to be pressing charges because, well, it's theft.
Yeah.
And it was quite substantially a large priced item, so yeah. That's basically how my Friday went.
He should be arrested for stupidity. That should be like a misdemeanor, like a fourth
Well,
degree misdemeanor or something.
Well, yeah, fourth grade misdemeanor, but quintessentially he was arrested for his own stupidity, so hell.
Yeah.
But how has your week been, Tyler?
It's all right. It's calm before the storm right now. In gaming and in professionally. So, talked about on the show previously over the course of the podcast. Fall, winter, early spring are super busy at work, and then also preparing my body for the avalanche of games that we're about to have fall upon us. So doing okay, knocking out some stuff that's on my backlog. Not too exciting. Justin can't be here tonight. We're actually recording this on a Friday night. Justin's having we talked about last week, he moved housewarming party on Saturday night. So I'm going to that. That's why we're not recording on our normal night. And yeah, it's kind of weird. I don't my days are all screwed up. Plus we had shut down today, so I keep thinking today's Saturday, but it's actually Friday. So it's kind of nice, when you realize you still got a whole another day off that you keep forgetting you had. So,
I know, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, gonna enjoy the time off while I can, because after here for a little bit, ain't gonna have any for a while. But yeah, I'm doing all right. Nothing too crazy going on. Oh, actually, this is pretty exciting shit. I told you a little about on before the show, but Oktoberfest beer, it's back, baby.
There you go.
So excited. People have been posting online. They've been drinking Samuel Adams Oktoberfest. Usually it sprinkles out in like, sometimes you might see it mid to late July. Or like a cheaper like a low end gas station. You get lucky and find it. Pay a couple bucks more, but that's fine. I'm jonesing for it, I've been like a heroin junkie. Just come on. That's all. I just need a taste, like a little taste, And I've just been waiting. And they didn't have Samuel Adams. Samuel Adams is my personal favorite out of all of them. I've tried multiple dozens different kinds of Oktoberfest. I think I've liked them all. But I got what did I get here? Oh, Sierra Nevada. It's okay. It's nothing amazing. I bought 3 of them because I got really, really excited. So 3 6-packs. So I'll be drinking that for a little bit, and then hopefully next week, Samuel Adams, when I go grocery shopping, he'll be there. Because yeah. And then also, this is kind of cool shit. When I was like a teenager and early 20s, 90% of my wardrobe was Green Bay Packer and Iowa Hawkeye clothing. Like I had stocking caps, hats, hoodies, coats, jackets, gym shorts, t-shirts, sweaters, whatever. Like I wore one of those 2 teams shirts almost every day. And then 4 or 5 years ago, I put a bunch of weight on. I didn't have more than that. It was like 6-7 years ago actually. I put a bunch of weight on. Wasn't working for a while. Then I got a call center job, so all my clothes didn't fit anymore. So then I just started buying like cheap shit, and then I threw all that shit away. And then I lost the weight, and then I already threw the shit away, so I lost all that clothes. So now I've been slowly building up. Not slowly actually. I spent a bunch of money last weekend and bought a bunch of fucking Green Bay Packer and Iowa Hawkeye shit now.
There you go.
Yeah, I now have 3 of each. So we're getting there. So I mentioned a few weeks ago when I got my Extra Life shirt, like I had like 20 shirts, like quarter of them were Extra Life shirts, a quarter of them were wrestling shirts, and then like the other half were pretty much all like gaming related or nerd culture related shit. Pretty much all my shirts are nerd culture shit. So
that's awesome.
I'm now expanding my horizon. I'm 28 and I'm expanding my horizon. All right, I got 1 polo shirt that I got from work for free.
Okay.
That's something. We're getting there. And then I got a button-up shirt. I'm pretty sure it might still fit. I don't know. It's been sitting in there for a while. And then I got a bunch of football and shirts. I'm growing up, man. I'm getting old. Gotta be a little more civil. Got a little more business-like. I'm a businessman now.
Businessman. Gonna wear your tux to work one of these days.
Yeah. I'm gonna wear my tux. Yeah. I'm gonna wear actual like full tux to work with like the 12-foot long tail. That'd be pretty awesome. I mean, that's all gonna go out the window though, because I'm getting my Talking Ship T-shirt and hoodie and hat here in a couple weeks. So
there you go.
You take 2 steps forward, 1 step back, but you still got a step forward in there. So we're getting there. One of these days I'll have a almost adult like clothing collection. I just gotta stop buying Walmart pants, but they're so cheap, you know. They're so cheap, like $15. Fuck.
Man, I hardly ever buy my pants from Walmart.
That's all. The thing is, we wear uniforms at work, and 9% of the time I'm wearing my uniform, and then like when I'm home, I just wear like jogging pants or gym shorts or something, and then I wear my pants here and there when I go out, but I don't really go out a whole lot. You know, go out here a little bit, do my normal shopping shit or run somewhere, go over to buddies for a little bit, but I really don't. I wear like all I do is I put my pair of pants on, my t-shirt on. I wear it to work, I change, I drive it home. I wear the same fucking outfit every day for the entire week. So I wear it for like 20 minutes. Fuck that. I ain't wearing a different wardrobe every day. Fuck that shit. I don't know why we're talking about clothes so much. Well, I brought it up. I know why, but I don't know why I'm still talking about it. I'm sorry about that. We're on a weird thing there about clothing. I promise it'll never happen again for at least a week or two. Fashion with Tyler. The Fashion Files with Tyler and Gables. So, yeah. Don't. If you want to know what not to do, people, when you get older, about fashion, don't do what I do. Get grown up shit. I don't know. I like my stupid shit, but every now and then you gotta look civilized. When I go out to the bars and I wear my Bailey Wrestling I'm a Hugger T-shirt, I like it, but it's kind of weird, like everybody else walking around fucking all dressed up, dressed to the nines. I'm walking around in a big purple and yellow shirt, looking like Barney's turd, and saying,
looking
I'm
like
a hugger.
Barney's turd. It's like girls looking at us like, oh man, I don't want to hug that dude. He looks weird.
Hey, oddly enough, I've worn it downtown a few times, and I've gotten several hugs.
Really?
All of them dudes, unfortunately. But I'm getting hugs.
You're getting the opposite type of reaction that you intended.
Yeah, not the reaction I wanted from the audience that I wanted, but I'll take it. I'm a big fan of hugs. That's why I wear a T-shirt out in the public that says I'm a hugger. So
that's so fucking funny. It's like all of a sudden it's like they're not even good looking dudes, are they? They're like a bunch of old sweaty dudes, man. It's fucking weird.
Yeah, really weird. Why is that fat redheaded guy wearing a big purple shirt saying I'm a hugger? I don't know. This is my life, guys. Fucking. We're all on the brink of nuclear war. Shit's going on. Fucking fuck it. I'm just gonna wear my hugger shirt everywhere I go. I'm gonna wear it to work. Fuck it. I don't give a shit. What are we gonna do? Nuke them? I don't know. Well, anyways, whatever. Yeah, Oktoberfest is back. I'm grown up, somewhat from a fashion standpoint. But next week I'm gonna do my little turn on the catwalk. Pretty sweet on the catwalk. Yeah, on the catwalk. Hopefully people get that reference. But anyways. This is a video game show, not a fashion show. Although maybe it should be. Maybe we should put the show on E. I don't know. Kardashians aren't as popular as they used to be. They need to start filling in content. They're gonna do so many Kardashian spinoffs. Eventually, they're gonna need new shit. So we can fill in. If anybody's listening, we are interested. And I imagine Total Divas and all that shit's gotta go away too here soon. So, anyways, yeah, check us out. E.
Yep.
Let us know. We'll talk. Anyways, video games. Let's do that shit. Actually, we're gonna jump in the news because there's a decent amount of news. I want to kind of run through some of this stuff first.
Sure thing.
I want to knock some of the stuff we can knock out really fast. And there's not really too much to say about it. First off, I want to talk about this came out last week. NBA Live 18. Their EA is doing like their I don't even know how many times fourth reboot of this series.
Yeah.
2K has been eating their lunch for 14, 15 years now. And they've gone away for a couple years, came back, and the games have been bad or completely broken. There was one year where the game, publishers, or not publishers, like IGN, GameSpot, all those people actually had review codes and had reviews written for this game, and like 3 or 4 days for the game. It was like, I think it was, I want to say NBA Live 14. 3 or 4 days for the game supposed to come out, they canceled the game.
Yeah.
So, then there was gonna be they had like they renamed it to something else a couple years ago, and then that just never happened. So then I think NBA Live 17 got delayed, and now NBA Live 18 is here. It's coming out, I want to say, September 21st, and I believe NBA 2K18 is coming out on the 25th. So they got a few days. They're coming out a few days before 2K. So smart move. Another smart move I think they're doing is if you pre-order the game. I believe it's only digital only though. If you pre-order it on like PSN, Steam, Xbox, whatever, the game is normally $60. But if you pre-order it, you can get it for $40.
Yeah.
Another big thing they're doing is they're doing the WNBA. They actually got all the WNBA teams in there, and you can do all, so you can play as all the women. You can play as, for I think the first time ever, that's gonna be a thing. They had a women's college basketball back in the day on PlayStation, but this is the first time we've seen professional women in a video game before. So yeah, that's a big thing they're doing. I think that's super smart. They're doing a thing that what 2K did back in the day on like the PS2 days, where when the 2K was kind of the new up and coming thing, because NBA Live's been around for over 20 years. I want to say early 90s. 2K came out. NBA Live was coming out for I think games were $50 back then. 2K would bring their games out for $20. All their football games, all the college basketball, and the NBA game. And they were kind of like they were already better games, but they had to establish an audience. They came out, undercut them by more than half of the price they cut it, and slowly took over. And then NBA Live kind of got worse and worse because they tried to adapt and change. It just made the game worse. And 2K just got better, and they've kind of stagnated a little bit. I know the story mode stuff is really cool. People think it's really cool. I don't really care for it too much, but people like it. But yeah, I think if you're gonna bring the game back, it's kind of humbling. I think, and it's kind of crazy to see from EA of all people kind of being humbled. You don't really see that. Like you look at like with NFL 2K, people. I always like Madden more, but a lot of people like NFL 2K more. To kind of counteract that, they just bought the rights to NFL for video games and took them out of the market. So yeah, I think it's a smart move. I'm hoping the game is good. There's a demo out there. I haven't really heard anybody talk about the demo, but I might check it out because I do like basketball games. The 2K formula, I kind of got tired of them after a little while, but they're still good basketball games. But I kind of want to see what NBA Live's got to bring to the table. What about you?
Let's see. To be perfectly honest with you, I really don't have too much confidence with NBA Live. I mean, I agree that there's some good moves right there, just basically undercutting 2K by lowering down the price, and all of a sudden, like going through adding inclusion of WNBA players and stuff like that is definitely a smart idea. To be perfectly honest, though, I really don't have too much interest in it.
Yeah,
because the franchise itself has not established itself. It's constantly being rebooted, and I really don't have any confidence this game's going to perform that good.
Yeah, am I going to buy any of these games day one? No, but I always usually pick them up. I think this is the first time in a long time I didn't buy an actual 2K game. Usually I would buy it around the finals time. They'd have a sale for it, and that's when you're basketball is the biggest, and you're everybody's jonesing for more basketball. So I always usually buy it around that time, and I didn't this year. So I'm curious to see how it does. I hope it does well because competition is good. I still like Madden a lot. They've done I think a lot of making the game better, but that's just me. It's hard to bring in new fans, especially when they have that stigma there. It's the same thing every year. So if this brings competition in 2K, that's good. I wouldn't mind it if there was a way that there was a new NFL game out there, a new football game, big AAA football game came out there, and just kind of battled and create, and it helps the genre not be stagnant. So I'm hoping maybe they'll do the same thing with the same thing we did in the early 2000s and mid 2000s with we did with Live and 2K. So maybe we can renew that rivalry. So that'd be good. Next up, not really a lot to say on this one. Horizon Zero Dawn. They announced the DLC coming out later this year, called Frozen Wilds. They actually have a date for it now. It's coming out November 7th. So the same day actually as Xbox One X comes out. But it's $15 if you buy it now. It's not standalone, unfortunately. You can pre-order and buy it. It's been been able to pre-order it since E3, but if you pre-order it's $15. Buy it afterwards, it's $20. Unfortunately, I was hoping it was standalone because it's actually a whole different section. It's not. This is the area that you're gonna play in that was not inside the game, the main original game. I think it takes place after the story. I don't think they've fully said when it takes place in the timeline, but I think there was rumors that it was after the initial game. So not really to add to that. just want to mention that out there. I'm excited for it. I've had a pre-order for a while now. It's been waiting for them to announce a date, so that should be fun. Pretty excited about that. I'm more than happy to go back into that world and check out more Horizon and Aloy. So that should be fun. Moving on. Other big news. Amazon Prime. I don't know if you've seen this, Gables. But they have announced a change in their video game discount. They did a change actually a few weeks or maybe a month or two ago when they announced that no longer are like the big collector edition bundles are going to be up for the 20% off discount like they've always had. I believe Amiibo and Toys for Life stuff is no longer discounted. They've also now said, I don't know if this started immediately or it's coming here soon, but they're now taking away the option where you could so with Amazon Prime, if you bought a video game up to 2 weeks after it came out, you got 20% off. They have now changed it, so the only way you get the 20% off is by pre-ordering the game. So
that's pretty cool.
They've actually, it's kind of shitty because they took away, it used to be up to 2 weeks after you get the 20% off.
Oh, I see.
So if a game came out today and you heard good reviews, like, oh, I want to get that, you have 2 weeks to buy that game. Now you go and get that discount if you pre-order it. So once the game is out, if the game came out today, that pre-order discount, or the discount in general is just gone. So kind of sucks.
That's
really
very
sucks.
shitty.
Yeah, especially because a lot of people, that was the big thing, was like it kind of helped with about pre-ordering game, especially back in the day. I used to do the before Amazon changed it a few years ago, where I pre-order all my games from Amazon because if you pre-ordered it, you got 99-cent shipping and you got it on the day of release. And they got rid of that, and then Amazon Prime added the free 2-day shipping, or you can get 2-day shipping. You can still get the game on release date most of the time. Every now and again, maybe you get a day late. So another strike against it. This is where I want to bring in. I a few months ago, Troy actually on the show talked me into it in the Best Buy Gamer Club is what I think it's called.
Yeah,
it's $30 for 2 years. Gets you that 20% off, and it's 20% off every video game ever that's out there. I could buy a game that came out 2 years ago and get a 20% off discount for it still. Amiibo, Toys for Life stuff, 20% off. You have point system, which Amazon, as far as I know, I think they have a point system with the credit cards, but they have a point system with Best Buy. Even if you don't have a credit card, I do, but so you get more points, which is kind of nice. But you get points, so like pretty much every time I buy a game, it gives me enough points to basically get a $5 coupon. So like right now, I'm up to like $40 off. So when I pre-order Mario and Rabbids, I'm gonna get the game for basically $20. Plus actually cheaper because I get 20% off. So you're talking now $8. So and you get free 2-day shipping. All right, you get the game. If you pre-order a game, then you get it on release date every time. So far, it's worked for me. I understand Amazon's better as far as like it has everything. Best Buy doesn't have everything; it's all electronic stuff. But if you're looking at this from a gamer standpoint, it's cheaper, $30 for 2 years. Where Amazon Prime is $12 a month or $100 a year. It kind of sucks. They gave us this really cool program. I want to say, I think it was early 2016, and all they've been doing this year is incrementally taking things away from us. There's still more benefits from it. I think Amazon Prime, compared to Gamer Club, as far as like you got the video stuff, which is really cool to have, the Netflix stuff in there, and plus you get free 2-day shipping on everything. So I understand the argument for that, but for me, the only reason I would use Prime personally is just for the video game discounts, which obviously I don't use now. But it just kind of sucks that they're taking away from that. That was a huge deal last year, and it sucks they've been slowly but surely taking things away from that program. But just want to throw it out there. I honestly wonder if this is something they've planned for a while. It's like, let's get everybody in there now, and then see how this works out, and then we could like slowly start taking shit out of here. But we've already got them hooked. They already like it. If you sign up for a year, kind of you're stuck there for a little while longer, depending on when you signed up for it. So I do the monthly thing, but $100 for a whole at one point hurts a little bit. That $12 a month is a little easier for me.
Oh yeah.
Do you use any of the Amazon Prime or the Best Buy?
Not really. I just basically go upon what's for sale on a particular retailer. For example, if I want to go onto a place like, say, Amazon.com, if I find something on sale, I'm going to buy it.
Yeah.
I don't generally go through and buy a lot of new games every month. I mean, I do get a couple here or there. It all depends upon whether or not they're, like, appealing enough, you know, in terms of price. Like, maybe a $20 game, maybe a $10 game. Maybe another month would be a full $60 game. But I just really don't like the idea of, like, going through and, like, doing a subscription things to get certain, like, discounts for a particular store. And that's because of there are so many different options to buy games, and there's so many different types of sales that I could potentially go to multiple different places to shop and get a game lower than, say, the competition if, say, I was to sign on to their subscription little base thing and then get, like, certain discounts. So
Yeah. To me, it's worth it just from the standpoint, like Best Buy, Gamers Club, $30 for 2 years. If you buy 2 games a year, that's about $25 you're saving. That's because usually rounds up to about $48. For the purchase. So you're saving $12 a game, and then you're not paying taxes. So that's another $3-4 you're saving. Plus you're getting it on release date shipped to your house. So you buy 2 games every year. You buy 2 games in 2 years. You made your money back. Plus you're earning points to get coupons up. You don't have to use it on just video games. You can buy other things with it, which is really cool. So I mean, I buy. Obviously people have been listening to this for a while. They know I buy a lot of games. Too many games. Your Gable's a lot smarter of a shopper than me. He usually waits, picks and chooses his games a lot more wisely than I do. I've definitely this year especially bought a lot of bad games or games I just didn't like. So you win some, you lose some. More times than not, it's worked out. My favorite pre-ordering things like that or buying in the hype. So comes with the territory. But with Best Buy, like I said, Best Buy Gamer Club, that discount is there forever. And so if you want to wait for reviews, you want to wait a week or two or wait till you get paid, that discount's going to be there. So I didn't want to turn this into like a Best Buy versus Amazon thing, but I kind of did. Kind of free advertising, I guess, for Best Buy. But I think it's awesome. I'm very happy with it. I rarely really ever go to buy games from GameStop much anymore. That used to be my go-to place. I usually just, if I do buy a game there, it's because I traded shit in. But yeah, I think it's awesome. I'm really happy with it. And if you're kind of bummed about it, and you're looking for a different place to go, that's the place to go. Next up, this one seems kind of exciting. I personally never going to play this game. It's a game I've wanted to play a lot back in the day. I've never really no excuse for it. But Okami, there is a rumor. Kotaku UK put it's in system somewhere showing physical release or physical copies for PS4 and Xbox One. It hasn't officially been announced, but there are rumors now that's coming sometime later this year to those consoles. This is a game I believe came out initially on PS2, and then got a HD remake for PS3, and then also was remade for the Wii back in the day as well. So I had several chances to play it, just never got around to playing it, but I heard nothing but great things about that game. So I hope this is true, because it's one of those games that from the last couple generations that I missed out on that I wish I wouldn't have missed out on. So I'm hoping this is the case, because I would love to check that game out.
It
did you ever play
is a beautiful
Okami?
game.
Yeah.
Well, I have played a little bit of Okami. I have never finished the game, but I have played enough to form that the game is fantastic looking. It does have gameplay similar to The Legend of Zelda, in terms of, like, say, exploring different types of terrain, some temple things here and there. But the main focus is to try to collect, I think, little souls of, like, essence or something like that to combat this huge, like, spiritual monster. It's kind of foggy, considering I haven't played the game in years, but I remember Okami being a big thing by then Clover Studios and stuff, because it was pretty much a collaboration effort that was pretty much considered one of their best work for that studio. And that's saying something in response, because they had just made games, I said, like Beautiful Joe and like some other types of games in that company's history. But I remember the re-release on the Wii a lot more because you could use the pointer and just control, like, I think her name was like Amaterasu or something like that, or yeah, I think maybe. But anyway, I remember the Wii game kind of getting a little bit of controversy because the Capcom had used the watermarking from IGN at the time in order to, and they shipped the watermarked trademark IGN logo on their product, and they sold it in retail stores, and that sort of like they had to recall a lot of the games because of that watermark. But in like well, you know what, in the news of these remasters, I think that does hold quite a bit of validity for, say, having that type of remaster thing for the PS4 and the Xbox One, only because not only is it a fun idea to go and play around with, say, a game like Okami potentially inside of a fluid 60 frames per second in, like, for maybe full 1080p or in 4K or whatever, that would look absolutely fantastic, in my personal opinion. But I really would like to know if this game would be a Switch title as well, and if not, what the fuck, Capcom?
Yeah, so far there is nothing. There's nothing in there about Switch. So
Yeah.
not obviously this game
Not
hasn't
too
officially been
surprising.
announced yet, but so far the listings are only showing PS4 and Xbox One. So nothing for Switch as of yet.
Well,
Which,
yeah, that's just the thing, though. It's like, that's not too surprising, even though Capcom has had one of the more successful game releases, like, on the Switch in forms of, like, Ultra Street Fighter 2, which I know the company has went on and said that because of the success of Ultra Street Fighter 2, that they are potentially putting out, like, maybe more older game, like maybe remasters or whatever the heck, on the Switch in the future. So maybe Okami's one of them, maybe not, but it sure would be a nice... It would certainly be a nice thing in order to play Okami on the go. I mean, that would be excellent.
Yeah, especially for a game that's about a decade old.
Yeah.
If anything, I wouldn't be surprised if they just... No, I guess you couldn't do it with the Wii one. Maybe you could do it with the Wii one. I don't know. The motion controls, maybe you can do it. I don't know. I hope they wouldn't do that. They just, let you do it like you did on PS2 or PS3. But yeah, I think that's cool. It's a game I definitely want to check out. I hope that's real. But moving on. These are like the real big things. This is the one real big thing. Is Crackdown 3, the biggest game for Xbox this season, holiday season. It's supposed to come out November 7th with the Xbox One X. They've been pumping that up. Has been delayed till spring 2018.
Wow.
Yeah. So they had
Wow.
So they had a press release out. I'm just going to kind of run through it real quick. So we're very excited about Crackdown 3, and so are many friends. And it's a difficult call to move the release date. This is Loftus. He sent an email to Polygon. However, we want to make sure to deliver the right game with the right quality at the right time. Crackdown 3 is a hugely ambitious game, and we want to ensure we deliver the right experiences all the way through every part of the game, whether that's campaign, co-op, multiplayer, or our competitive multiplayer mode, Wrecking Zone. Getting the balance right between the three modes is important, and we are going to take the extra development time to ensure that. Gamers can expect Crackdown 3 in spring of 2018. This game was actually... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry, Tyler. Let you finish. I'm going to let you finish what you're saying before I chime in with my question I had.
I just want to point out a couple things. This game was announced in E3 2014.
Yes.
They went away for a couple of years, then they popped up again. I think around this time in 2016, so it was coming out in the holiday season of 2016. Then we didn't hear anything about it for a while. Then they kind of came out again at E3. Didn't have a lot of gameplay, and that's something I talked about at the time. No real gameplay. We had like a 3-minute little teaser, but it was mostly Terry Crews, who I love very much. Brooklyn Nine-Nine, one of my favorite shows, and he's in it, kind of hyping up the game. So I guess I'm not too surprised it's got delayed, but still, kind of throw your hands up, like, what the fuck's going on? Go ahead, Gables.
My question to you, Tyler, is where does this leave us for first-party content releasing by the end of this year for the Xbox One?
All right, so I thought about that, and I was actually I wrote. So what they have right now, I think it's Forza Horizon this year. I think is it 7? I think it's 7.
It's Forza Motorsport 7, I think it is.
Yeah, and
Possibly.
then you have Cuphead.
Okay.
I think those both come out. I think September 29th for Cuphead, I want to say, and I think the week after for Forza, and then Super Lucky Tail, which comes out. It was the other, I guess. I don't want to say big game, but it was the other console exclusive they had.
That platformer game that's basically a re-release of a VR game that is charged full price.
Actually, it came out. It was $30. So the listing they initially had said 60, but then it was updated to $30. So that was wrong.
Okay,
but
good.
still,
at least that's a smart move.
That game was barely even talked about, and people that played it didn't have nice things to say about it.
I even forgot the damn thing even existed before you mentioned it.
Yeah, and then I actually did until I looked up the exclusives for this year for Xbox One, and also the big one. I mean, this could potentially be a big game changer. Is PUBG, PlayerUnknown Battleground. It's coming to the early access sometime. It's supposed to be sometime this year in November or December. That thing's almost 8 million copies sold. Just a juggernaut. So who knows where that game's going to be in 4 months, but 3 or 4 months. But that's what happened. But that's pretty much it. And I actually had some more things I want to talk about. I don't really want to pile on, but that's kind of what I'm doing. But I just want to I don't know what else to say about it. So Sony's 2017 so far. Nier, Neo, Horizon, Uncharted comes out next week, getting really good reviews. HellBlade, great reviews. Not super successful, but getting great reviews. And then with the Resident Evil 7 with the PSVR support, and then all the a lot of PSVR games. So that's big for PlayStation 4. So far this year for Xbox, we've had they canceled Scalebound. Lionhead got closed. Halo Wars 2 came out and sold around 300,000 copies. A game with Halo in the title sold only a few 100,000 copies. I think Bayonetta 2 sold more copies on the Wii U when it had 8 or 9 million systems out there in the market, and the Xbox has around 30 million. So that's big. And then, like I said, Forza 7 and Cuphead are the big two they're pushing. And then I imagine we'll get a big push for PUBG when that comes out, when that gets a release date. So yeah, that's Xbox and PS4's 2017 so far. So I don't know, man. It's like, in the grand scheme of things, the rest of 2017 for the Xbox One, and even though the release of the Xbox One X stuff, the games that are available that are supposed to be system sellers for this new Xbox One X, it's below average. It's not bad. I mean, you've still got games that will support specific people who are big fans of, say, Forza Motorsports and the whole thing about PlayerUnknown Battleground and stuff like that. That's going to be a huge thing for gamers come November, December, when that what was it, a beta, you said? Early access.
This early access game finally comes on around that time and stuff. That's going to be a huge boost, but at the same point, it is seriously disappointing if I'm a big Xbox One gamer in and of itself, because Crackdown 3 probably would have been my number one game I was looking forward to. Not only has it been announced since 2014, but at E3, for God's sakes, we didn't even know that game was going to be going through another delay of that magnitude. I mean, we fully thought that the game was going to be releasing by the end of 2017, and that we would be able to play it, do this, do that, and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm very disappointed by this news, because I'm very disappointed for the fan base right now for Crackdown 3, because they wanted this game in its entirety by the end of this year. They got to wait a little longer because of polishing reasons, and that is, in my honest opinion, a big blow to a potential good holiday sales thing for Microsoft during the later part of this year. So like you said, in comparison to what Sony has had so far in terms of first party content, I mean, there is absolutely no really big competition, no really big comparison and stuff like that. I mean, it has been pretty good in terms of what games that we have gotten exclusive wise, quality exclusive things that have released this year, bar a couple of bad, like almost early access style of games that even like freaking Steam greenlight wouldn't even greenlit. But
Yeah.
oh boy. But I got to admit though, I mean, I could maybe see little hints from the E3 trailer that some things could have been like maybe spruced up a bit. I mean, I think I've had that complaint when after we looked through that E3 trailer and stuff like that some things kind of did not look exactly like much different than some of the other Crackdowns, or even from like Saints Row the Third, you know, when we were going through and collecting like, or not even that, just like Saints Row in general, or even earlier Crackdown games where you're just collecting certain things, getting certain items and stuff. It just did not have that grandiose type of thing that they were advertising for that game. I mean, that's pretty much how I saw it, though. But
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a Crackdown fan. I played a little bit back in the day when it first came out, when I had the 360, just like everybody else. Well, not like everybody. Everybody bought it to play Halo 3 beta, but I bought it because there was nothing to play on the damn thing. So, not a big fan of it. I know people have been jonesing for another one since 2006, 2007, when Crackdown came out. Crackdown 2 came out, but
yeah,
I don't like that game. They fucked that game up badly. But yeah, I don't want to rag on Xbox because it's still, I mean, it's bad for Xbox, but it's still selling extremely well. For for a video game console, it's still outsold the GameCube. That's pretty good. 64 is outsold that. It's not the worst. I think it's actually outsold the original Xbox. It's not gonna, it's not setting the world on fire. It's just that PlayStation 4 is off to this, not off to this. They're still on this crazy ride where it's just you think they can just coast. You usually see when a console gets this big of a lead, they just kind of like take their foot off the gas a little bit, and they haven't done that. We're in year 4 of this, and they're still banging out big first party games. It seems like almost every month. Everybody talks about Nintendo's killing it this year with a lot of their first party franchises. Fucking Sony's doing the same thing. I just named all those games off. It's crazy to think that in a year when Zelda and Mario are coming out, you say Nintendo probably won. Nintendo won the year easily. You got a new console and you got Zelda and Mario coming out. But you can argue that I don't know if I would swing that way, but there's an argument made there that the PS4 is having just as good a year, if not better, than Nintendo's having. But yeah, it's a bummer because I was the 360. I went 360 last generation, and it was easy being a 360 guy, and then having the PS3 as your side console that you play all the exclusives on. Because Sony, they had a rough start, really rough start there, but they were, by the end of the last few years of that generation, they were killing it with first party games like Metal Gear, Flower, Journey, all 3 Uncharted games. Did I say Metal Gear Solid 4 already? I don't know if I did, but it deserves to be mentioned twice in case I did. Gear, so. Well, it's getting mentioned twice because it's a goddamn great game. And then Last of Us, obviously, maybe one of the best games of the last generation. So it was easy having that as a second console that generation. This generation is like the PS4 is my main console, but it's also the go-to for first parties. It sucks. Like I bought my Xbox One last year, and I really like Quantum Break. It was a really good game. Unfortunately, it didn't set the world on fire. It got delayed a bunch of times. It's kind of the Crackdown 3 situation, where that game was supposed to come out earlier in the damn near a launch title, and have a TV show with it. TV show never came out, and then they just kind of put this game together with the TV stuff they shot. Still did a really good job, but didn't set the world on fire. Gears of War 4 was really successful. It was one of the main reasons I bought my console to play that game. But you look at it, didn't really, once again, that didn't set the world on fire. It sold really well, but I think the people that bought that game already had the console. Then you got Halo 5, didn't really do much. Only sold 4 or 5 million copies. I'm pretty sure. I think it sold. Maybe was it 7 or 8? I don't know. I can't remember. I know, but it sold. But it didn't sell super well when you look at like Halo 3 sold like 11 million copies on day one. So I mean, obviously, it feels like the Xbox hasn't grown up almost, where they are kind of like they hit fucking jackpot in with the 360 with Gears of War and and well, Halo was before that, but they nailed. They had all these great franchises right off the bat with Mass Effect. That was initially supposed to be an Xbox exclusive.
Yeah,
they
was
were
supposed to.
Yeah, and it was for up until I think after the PS4, the Mass Effect 1 didn't actually come to the PS3 until I think about the same time the new consoles came out. So I mean they knocked out of the park with a bunch of brand new franchises. The Summer of Arcade, that was a huge fucking thing. Limbo, Braid, they were killing it, and it just seems like
it seems like they're having like the opposite momentum of what they've had with the 360.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't expect them to have the same amount of success that they had with the 360, but it's awfully telling where we're at the fourth year of this console's life.
Yeah.
And quintessentially, the games that they released is barely even differentiates itself from the PS4, its biggest competitor. Because even as a subsidiary console, it's not that very appealing, in my honest opinion, because there are very few exclusive titles I am excited to play on that system.
Yeah.
I would have been excited to play Scalebound. I would have been excited to play more maybe of Crackdown 3 if it did not look the same as certain other games that have released the past few years that did something very similar, like say Saints Row 4 or even the original couple Crackdown games and stuff like that. It's just that type of shortage of first-party games that it makes the Nintendo Switch much more appealing and a lot more desirable, because I know even if I have my Nintendo Switch as a subsidiary to my PlayStation 4, I get to play the games franchises that I want to play. I can play Zelda. I can play Mario. Eventually, I can play the mainline Pokemon games if I choose to. Whereas I can play both first and third party on my PS4 with Uncharted, with this, with that, and stuff. The main focus and my main reasoning behind it is those are the games. Those games are recognizable and that drive me to want to play that system. When I look at the Xbox One, and when I did have my Xbox One S last year, I basically ignored almost the entirety of when I got that PS4 in the mail from you, Tyler. Why? It's because I got back to playing the franchises that I would get back into and that excited me to the extent where I looked at the Xbox One S and there's literally almost nothing that I was lasting my interest. And then looking into the far off future where I see a year like this where there's maybe 2 or 3 games I want to play on that system all year, it did not make any sense.
Yeah.
I got rid of it. I got rid of the games. I got rid of the stuff. I still have my profiles. Still, I can go back if I choose to. But the main point is, this is Sony's... No, it's not Sony's. This is pure less on Microsoft for not establishing much more creative first-party exclusives to keep more gamers around. Because even though they've sold that many consoles and have been successful of selling the hardware, the software has suffered quite a bit because they do not have the exclusive power that they did when they were running with the 360.
Yeah. I mean, you look at they lost Call of Duty. That's a big killer. I mean, they were the go-to for the social, the whole, they created the social network of online video gaming.
Yes,
that was them.
For
they lost it
gaming,
this generation. Yes. Yeah, they lost it this generation. They lost Call of Duty. I mean, it's not like they haven't been trying. They've been trying new things. It's just that it seems like everything they try to do, they try to do a lot of things that Sony are doing. We bitched for the first couple of years about the consoles because there was no big exclusives from Sony. There's a couple, but they're okay. Nothing blew us away. But there was no big first-party exclusives for that. And it took a couple of years, but now everything they've got them all out there now. A lot of them are out there now, and almost all of them have been bangers.
Well, let's look at the exclusive-wise right here that the Microsoft has currently. Scalebound, they've had to cancel.
Yep.
Halo, it's a franchise that pretty much has fatigue. Mm-hmm. Not only through the mainline games, but it's even more telling with Halo Wars 2, having barely sold 300,000 copies. I mean, come on, this is a franchise that potentially can sell millions if used correctly. And I understand that it's a subsidiary, like a spin-off game for the original Halo Wars, which that was considered a cult classic on the 360.
Yeah.
But
well, and when Halo came out, man, I remember when Halo 3 came out. That fucking was, and I wasn't even I'm not even a Halo fan, and that was like a fucking holiday, you know? That was
a good game.
Huge. Yeah, I mean, that they ran that franchise to the ground. They
did.
Overdid that. I remember, I think they had like a stretch there where there was like 8 Halo games in like 7 years, you know?
That's very true.
They didn't have a lot to go on, and they rode that horse as long as they could until it's not dead, but it's definitely limping to the finish line at this point. Go ahead.
But when you said like exclusive deals and stuff, yes, I agree with you. Yeah, they did lose the Call of Duty like DLC, something like that. They did lose exclusivity for like say Mass Effect, which now looks like it could potentially be rebooted with how bad like Andromeda did.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that franchise is gonna be dead for a while. So
yeah, it is.
Should be.
As it comes to like certain other content, you know, there's nothing like Valve that's going to be putting out these crazy games. Let's say Left 4 Dead. I mean, fuck, Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2 were one of the major games that gamers went on to Xbox Live and played online, you know, because of how great that multiplayer was and how like, you know, how much of a thrill it was to play with 3 other people cooperatively, like online, trying to take out all these hordes of zombies, doing this and doing that. But yeah, it's just sort of depressing in a bit because Microsoft's also lost out on deals to get like first on like exclusive content when it came to big old major games that have released this generation, like Destiny. Because Destiny, when that first came out, was heavily advertised for PlayStation 4, and the same thing is being done pretty much for Destiny 2, even though they're coming out with the PC port soon and like with other stuff for Xbox One. People in the public eye on this new IP that have sold millions now, they view it as a PlayStation game.
Yeah.
And that's a big blow. But
yeah. And like I was saying, like it's not like they haven't tried. I mean, they try to get big exclusive into the Division. That was supposed to be the next big thing for gaming, and it got good reviews. There's a player base for it. They get the 30-day, they get the DLC 30 days before PlayStation does, but it didn't, once again, didn't set the world on fire. You look at Lionhead, they kind of rode that horse just like they did with before with Fable and all that shit.
Yeah, and look what happened. And look what happened to like Lionhead Studios right there.
Yeah,
there's no Peter Molyneux. The Fable franchise, as we know it, is pretty much dead at this point.
Yeah, they killed that too.
They basically just killed that entire franchise by running it down after Fable 3. So
Fable 3 was a bad game. That was more Peter Molyneux. Maybe it's a good thing he was gone.
Yeah.
But yeah, Fable Legends didn't turn out to be anything. No one really cared about that. They tried doing a bunch of weird side Fable games that everybody hated.
Even with like a game like Fable 2 and stuff, many people consider that disappointing because of how long the main campaign was, only like 8 hours long or something, unless you were doing side quests and you can actually get like maybe another 20 or so hours from it.
Oh, I put an ungodly amount of time in that game. So
I only beat the main game. I'm sorry.
I had like 19 wives, 72 STDs, but I had a badass dog though, so that was cool. That's really all that matters to me. Yeah, I mean, Fable Legends fell apart. That game got canceled. You look at other games, Recore. There's news about that coming out this week. Really good idea in place. I talked about, I want to say, early November. If you go back to our podcast, I think it was like an Extra Life show. I played it a lot last year during Extra Life. I really liked the core concept of that game. No pun intended. But the game was nowhere near done. It was a buggy mess. And there was a lot of stupid bullshit with collecting cores that artificially extended the game and pissed a lot of people off. And on top of that, like I said, the bugs and glitches and all that shit. But that game should have been great, I think personally. But it came out unfinished, and if it came out today, maybe be better off. Which is a story. There's this news story out there we can talk about next week possibly. Because there's some rumors out there about new Recore, or not new Recore, but definitive edition of Recore. But anyways, Scalebound. We know about Scale. We already talked about it. They've been putting all their eggs in the wrong basket. That's what they've been doing.
Yes,
across the board. So what was the big launch game they had with the skateboarding? Sunset Overdrive
They had
That
Sunset
was
Overdrive. That was supposed to be a major it was supposed to be a major launch window game that they released from Insomniac Games,
yeah,
Ted Price's studio.
yeah.
And
People
that basically, even though that was still a good game, it sold poorly.
yeah, yeah, and you look, Cuphead. That game was shown off at the Xbox One reveal, and it's now coming out hopefully December 29th. And everything we've heard from people, it's not. There's a lot of concerns about that game.
Yep.
So I'm buying it just because I've been waiting years to play it. So I am part of me still excited and hopeful for that game. There's another game that was shown off at the Xbox One reveal. We haven't heard about the game in a couple of years now. I can't remember what it's called. It's been so long since we've heard about it. But I remember when they first talked about it, fucking people were going crazy saying it was the next big indie game. It was like a top-down game. I can't remember what it's called. Quantum Break, like what I talked about. It's supposed to come out in I think 2014. Came out. I really liked the game. Reviews are overly positive for it. Once again, didn't set the world on fire. So yeah, I don't mean we can move on, but it's just a bummer that where Xbox is now, considering where they were 5 years ago, 4 years ago, at this time. Like they could have done next to nothing at the Xbox One reveal, in 2013, and they would have took probably a really commanding lead early in the generation. Maybe Sony would have Sony probably would have made a big comeback with they had the first party titles they did, but who knows? Maybe they wouldn't have to. Maybe Sony would be pressing more and making totally different decisions if Xbox came out and went up, came out at the bat banging with the Xbox One. That E3 2013, where Xbox came out, they had the reveal and people hated it. A couple weeks earlier, it came out E3, gave us more of the bullshit that we didn't want to hear, and it was like, what the fuck are you doing? And then Sony, all they do is just $400. You guys can play your games, and you can share your games with your friends. You can buy them used, and they got fucking people were chanting Sony and losing their goddamn mind because hey, we let you guys do the things you've been doing for 20 fucking years. Who would have thought you guys like that? We're not gonna take away your shit. Who knew? So yeah, I don't know.
But there is one last question I will say
Okay.
and stuff in regards to, not only in regards to say like Crackdown 3, but just in regards to say like the Xbox One X in general and stuff. It's like how well will Xbox One X do before the release of Crackdown 3? Because if people are going off and like selling their Xbox Ones and like just getting rid of a lot of their Xbox stuff en masse, which believe me, I've seen a lot of plenty of Xbox consoles around my small area between some parts of this county, and I just cannot believe how many people have gotten rid of like their Xbox Ones. I mean,
Yeah.
It's got to be more than just say Xbox One X and stuff. I think it is fully because of how stagnant and how sort of lackluster it has been to hold appeal for main Xbox fans other than backwards compatibility.
Yeah, they've been trying. They've been doing a lot. They've been saying a lot of the right things. The last couple E3s have been good. They've been just as good, I think, as Sony's, but unfortunately, the games haven't been hitting like Sony's has. Yeah, I don't know. I'm curious. I mean, the PS4 Pro isn't really doing anything tremendously. I mean, it's selling well. It's not. I like my Pro. I'm really happy with it. I don't regret the decision of buying it. But it's not. It's not like a necessity to buy. Justin has a 4K TV, but he doesn't have any interest in buying a PS4 Pro, as far as I know. I think there's a lot of people out there right now that don't have that interest in it. I mean, if you're buying a console, it probably makes sense to buy a Pro.
Yes.
But I don't think people are still buying Xboxes, but they're not. It's not selling anywhere near like the Switch is right now. Currently, it's newer consoles, so it's not really a fair argument.
Right.
Or anywhere near what the PS4 is doing still. So I don't think people that already own the console. I think people that already own the console, I don't think are going to sell their system unless maybe it's on the last legs to get the new one. I don't think people that don't have an Xbox One already. What's the reasoning to go get one now? Because there's nothing coming out for it that's saying I need to go get this thing. I want to see what this thing can do other than Forza. But if you if you're a big Forza, if you're interested in Forza, you probably already own an Xbox to play Forza. And if you have a PS4, Gran Turismo 7 or 6, I don't know which one it is anymore. Sports,
Gran
whatever it's
Turismo
called.
Sport or something like that. There is
Yeah.
literally like maybe 20 to possibly 30 different types of exclusive games that are actually quite decent on the PlayStation 4 that's available right now.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So if you already have a PS4 Pro, I mean, the big game coming out this year for Xbox One is Forza. And like I said, there's 5 or 6 Forzas already on the console. So I don't know why now you'd buy a Forza or buy a console to play Forza. So there's no reason to buy one now. I mean, it could take a little bit. And you look at, I don't mean to look at PlayStation. Horizon was supposed to launch with the PS4 Pro, got delayed. And I mean, that doing well. Obviously, Horizon's a fantastic game. Probably going to be a lot of people's game of the year. Arguably could be one of mine. So if Crackdown 3 turns out to be like that, then maybe we're in a different story. So I think it's going to be a while. I think it's going to sell okay because it's a new thing. But I don't think it's going to do what PS4 Pro is doing until really we won't really have no real way to tell until the Crackdown 3 comes out, or if something bigger comes out before that for the Xbox One exclusive wise. So yeah, but let's we're going along here, so let's jump into what we've been playing.
All right.
Gables, you've been playing a new game.
Yes, I have.
I wanna let's hear about that.
As a matter of fact, not only have I played a new game, I've played an old game as well.
Ooh.
And what I'm referring to is I had a chance to play Sonic Mania this past week.
Nice.
Now, Sonic Mania, for those who don't know, is it was like a classic style Sonic the Hedgehog game from back in our youth, pretty much. So back in the 1990s, Sonic the Hedgehog was a premier franchise for the Sega Genesis. It had 4 different games for that system. Sonic 1 through 3 and Sonic and Knuckles. Those were the main Sonic games. Give or take the spin-offs like Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, Sonic Spinball, Sonic 3D Blast, stuff like that. But the main appeal for those mainline Sonic games were the creative level design, how fast you can go in terrain and like go across the different levels, like how like fast you can actually go and complete the game in a specific amount of time and stuff. The game was initially created to combat Super Mario back around the Super Nintendo days because Sega at the time wanted to compete against Mario and how popular he was with their own edgy sort of dude like character with like Sonic the Hedgehog.
What was the saying? It does when Nintendo don't.
Sega does when Nintendo don't.
That's what it is. Yep.
That was the slogan that Sega of America used to compete against Nintendo. So their main game that they released, like a few years after the release of the Sega Genesis, was Sonic the Hedgehog around 1992. So by that point, the Genesis had released. It was competing against the NES, and the main launch game that was for that system at the time was Altered Beast, and so they had to look for a specific type of different character to try to have as a mascot, because this is the era of video games where each company had to have a mascot in order to compete against Mario. So Sega chose Sonic. Flash forward to 2017. This is a 2D Sonic game in every sense of the word. Creative level design, fast pace. You could play as either Sonic, Tails, or Knuckles. You could play as Sonic and Tails if you want the authentic like Sonic the Hedgehog 2 like feel. And you know what? Even after all the creative levels that I've gone through so far, I've only maybe gone through half of the game since Tuesday. Nice. I literally downloaded the game. I played through half the game in one sitting, and I am amazed at how much not only nostalgia that I got from playing this, but how refreshing it felt in this year, in 2017, to play a new Sonic the Hedgehog game that's actually a fucking Sonic the Hedgehog game, and not any of the extra bullshit from what's been introduced from Sonic Adventure, from the games that were released, the whole hot garbage between Sonic Boom and all this other shit. Just something that's more akin to my tastes. My taste of being a kid, playing games on the Sega Genesis and just enjoying and having fucking fun, and how fast he's going around the stages, how often I'm going to be going forth and collecting rings, finding these crazy-ass bosses, because the game plays so simply, and it's so basic in terms of story and in terms of level, like, navigability and stuff. Man, there is so much intricate little stuff that you will miss unless you played the game multiple times, you know? And it really feels refreshing. At this point in time, this is really fantastic, in my honest opinion.
That's awesome.
I know, right? It's like, it just feels, in grand scale of things, I mean, the whole reasoning how Sonic Mania got to what it is right now is because Sega of America reached out to, Christian, I'm trying to remember the name of the actual company, but Christian Whitehead, that's who I was referring to. And who this person is in the Sonic modding community. This is the guy that was responsible for creating these elaborate modifications and stuff for old, like, Sonic games and stuff. And so Sega reached out to him in order to help out create this new Sonic game. And so after a couple, like, maybe like about a year or something like this is how we got Sonic Mania. And I've kept tabs on it since its initial unveil, seen a bunch of different types of trailers. I basically had no clue how good this game was going to be. It's actually my most surprising gaming experience of the year so far. You know, to go forth and be surprised by a Sonic the Hedgehog game. You know? I mean, Sonic has pretty much had been, like, in sort of a mixed kind of tailspin since around 20 years, pretty much. In my honest opinion. Yeah. You have random good games in the series, you know, in the franchise in general, like, for instance, maybe Sonic Colors. I kind of like Sonic, like, Lost World a little bit. You know, say what you will about certain games being good, like, say, maybe Sonic Adventure 2, but that series, that franchise, they somehow, in all of that time, forgot actually how to make a good Sonic game. Because they try to appeal to everyone of different type of niches, and at one point created a Sonic the Hedgehog 4 game, which was like, okay, this is utterly disappointing. And not just disappointing, like they just missed the mark by a couple of inches. No, we're talking about disappointing how it was broken up into 2 episodes, and the game felt stagnant and boring. But, yeah, I've gone through a couple of redesigned levels. Like, the original Sonic the Hedgehog has Green Hill Zone. When you start off the game, you play Green Hill Zone. And it starts playing like the same, but halfway through the stage, things start to change up. It actually starts becoming a new stage. It's remastered so that it feels like a fresh experience. Because the first couple of levels in this, the World 1, it is like a retelling of specific games in the franchise so far, those main Sonic games. Because World 2, you go forth to the Chemical Plant Zone from Sonic the Hedgehog 2. And oh my god, how much crazy edits they've done in terms of, like, those stages. I mean, I kid you not. It actually feels a lot more crazier because you have all these loop-the-loops and stuff. You have these random pipes. You have all these random, like beakers and stuff. At one point, you're traveling on platforms which look like little helix things from DNA molecules just transporting you up and down the stage and stuff. I at certain points don't even understand what the fuck's going on the screen, but at the same time, I'm having a blast playing it because it makes me feel like I'm a kid.
Are you also a squid now?
No.
Okay.
Unfortunately not. No, now I'm a hedgehog.
Oh, cool. Cool. I'm Tails then. Like a fly, motherfucker.
But I will say this, Tyler. If you even have remotely a little bit of, like, if you're even a little bit of a fan of the old Sonic the Hedgehog games from back in the day, you absolutely need to play this game. This is the retro retread done right. This has me convinced that they are going to sell successfully this game over their new game that they're going to be releasing, Sega, later on this year, Sonic Forces. Because I feel with them going into like their fan community and actually finding some, like this guy Christian Whitehead that actually creates and like has made these Sonic levels like almost like a best of things, it feels fresh. I feel they could potentially make more games similar to this in the future, and it has me excited. It actually has me excited for Sonic the Hedgehog.
That's awesome, man. I'm happy for you and for a lot of people. Like I talked about it. I grew up. I played a lot of Sonic when I had a Genesis. But I was never a big fan of Sonic. I was more of a Streets of Rage kind of guy. So if we can get Streets of Rage Mania, I'll be happy with that.
Oh yeah. Well, you can always play Streets of Rage like on the 3DS too.
But I want a new one. You know what I mean? I beat those games like a million times. I remember back in the day, I played like 6-7 games in a row. Streets of Rage 2. Just keep beating the game.
Oh my god, dude, that does sound amazing.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't. Yeah. I'm happy for people. It's not my game, like I said, but I'm happy that Sonic. It's one of the staples of all-time gaming, and it should be treated better. And I'm happy for now, at least, until Forces comes out, because that's probably going to be a bad game. But I'm happy for now. We got a good Sonic game out in a while for the first time, probably since 3 Sonic and Knuckles, maybe.
I think this is the first universally accepted good Sonic game since around the 1990s. I kid you not.
20 years.
Because even when Sonic Adventure came out towards the later half of the 90s and like early 2000s, that game was not universally praised. There were fundamental problems. There were bad glitches, bad voice acting. There were a lot of like questionable elements, like that whole fishing minigame portion with Big the Cat, which, I kid you not, that is boring as shit, and it's so finicky to like have the freaking fishing rod in order to try to catch Froggy and all that other stuff. I mean, I watched the entire gameplay of what the Game Grumps did for Sonic Adventure, because I had a mild curiosity having played Sonic Adventure 2 and never playing the original, and oh my god, that game... Oh my god, that is not a good game. I'm sorry, guys, but no.
It's bad. Sonic games are bad.
And that was one of the main touts for the Sega Dreamcast.
Yeah. Skies of Arcadia is the best Dreamcast game of all time.
Oh, I could see that, yeah.
No, it is. It's objective. I've said it. It's now law. Yeah. All right, did you play anything else then?
No, I just played maybe a little bit of, like, Pokemon Yellow, but other than that, though, that was my main game that I played, Sonic Mania.
That's cool, man. I'm going to jump in what I've been playing then real quick. Touched on a little bit, HellBlade. I said it wrong. It's Senua's Sacrifice, and I said the name wrong. I kept thinking I Am Setsuna for some reason. Every time I heard the damn game, I think I Am Setsuna. So I kept calling her Setsuna. It's actually Senua's, and after... It's HellBlade Senua's Sacrifice. I finished it up the other night. I want to say about 7 hours to finish. Just like I talked about last week. It's a story-driven game mostly. The combat throughout still really good. I think they add. There's not a lot of it. You probably spend maybe grand total, depending on, maybe not including like replaying and dying and shit. Maybe 15-20% of the game actual in combat, but it was usually a short burst, and it was there. It was fun. Every battle was tense, but they added enough new enemies here and there to kind of make you change the formula of the way you've been playing. I think enough to you never got bored. There wasn't a lot of different enemy types, but you didn't fight enough, and they put them in a good rate, so it was good. From that standpoint, but the story is the standout to me outside of the graphics. Beautiful game. Like I said last week, best game I've seen this generation graphically. Makes another one of those games that made me getting a 4K and a Pro. Another reason I'm happy to have it. Horizon, I thought was enough, but now it's just HellBlade was a cherry on top for 4K. But the story of this game is probably the best combination of gameplay and story that I've played all year. Like
Nice.
Horizon's got a pretty good story and really really great combat. Zelda's got a okay story and it's a good combat, but awesome, one of the best maybe open world games we've ever seen.
Yes.
But I think Hellblade, the whole package, the whole entire thing, might be I don't want to say it's a game of the year yet, but it has definitely forced its way into that conversation for me. What it touches upon, and I mentioned it dealt with mental illness, and Senua's got psychosis, so she has like a lot of hallucinations. She's dealing with all these voices in her head, and I talked about like this game. I feel is a must, absolutely, and I mean a must to play this with headphones on, because you hear the voices, and not only do you hear the voices better, but the way it actually works out in your head, where like you're playing the game, and like you'll hear like one voice in your head kind of being like, you can keep going, you gotta keep going, in your left ear, and then in your right ear you're hearing, what are you doing? You gotta turn back. You need to turn back. What are you doing? You can't do this. So it's like a almost like a angel demon type of, like on your shoulder situation. Dealing with all those voices, and the sound is wonderful. But I think the key thing is just the voices in her head that she's dealing with. But also just like the hallucinations she's having, and her dealing with that, and like can she trust what she's seeing, and like what she's seeing, is that really happening? And the story, like where her lover Dillian is his name. I figured that out now. He was killed in a raid, and she's going to Helium, I believe is how you pronounce it, to try to save his soul. She actually carries and like wrapped in like a bag or something his head, and she needs that to get his soul back. And it's a story about her dealing with her and trying to overcome what she doesn't understand what it is. She thinks it's this thing called the darkness, into the darkness, and she's dealing with this. She thinks like there's these weird creatures attacking her and like witchcraft type stuff going on, but she doesn't fully understand. Because back in that time, in that universe, in that world, and really in our world, we didn't understand what mental illness was. We, in real life shit, thought it was like a form of witchcraft, and like you're demon worshipping or you're possessed by an evil spirit. When really they had mental illnesses. And this game is that, where she's dealing with all these things in her head, but she doesn't understand what it is, and she's fighting to overcome these demons and all these things. And that's what the whole game is about: is her overcoming this mental illness. And I think it's a really sensitive subject to touch, especially nowadays, maybe more now than ever. And they do it really, really well. And that's, I mean, you would think when you're hearing a game like, this deals with mental illness, like, ooh, that feels maybe like kind of a weird like buzzword thing you're doing here, to sell some copies, or you're gonna fuck this up, because you don't really see, maybe outside of Spec Ops: The Line, no other game has really ever tried to do it, maybe, or maybe there's other games out there that tried to do it and it failed poorly, or it failed badly and it did poorly, whatever. This game fucking nails it. The whole thing, the whole package is so good, and it sucks because this game's reviewing really well. For the most part, I think it's in the 80s on Metacritic, but it sucks. I feel like this game's gonna kind of get passed over. Coming out when, like we thought, like I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, we're getting ready for the busy season of gaming. So people are too busy talking about the shit coming up that this game's gonna get lost in the shuffle there. It's not coming out. People aren't gonna go to GameStop and see this. It's a game that I feel like people like us that are in the know, listen to podcasts, go on Twitter, read about games, read about what's going on, reading the news. A lot of us know what this game is. Are going to hear about it, and nobody else is really going to. The people that just go out and go to the store and see what's out there, they're not going to know about this game, unfortunately. And I feel like this is a game that everybody should check out, even just for the story alone. Put it on easy. I don't care. But I feel like a lot of people, you should check this game out. I think it needs to be checked out. I want more people to play this game. It's $30. Ninja Theory talk about bringing back the mid-tier game, the AA games. In this game, I feel is a real triple A game with a really good price on it, $30. I paid more money for way lesser games this generation, and this is for the price and the experience I got. One of the best overall this year, maybe this generation. Like I said, $30, digital only, unfortunately. But yeah, people check this game out. It's really good. Watch a couple of things online about it. There's some downsides. I think the puzzles are kind of meh. You kind of do the same thing over and over again puzzle wise. They're interesting, but they don't really ever evolve too much. There's a couple different types of puzzles they do at certain points of the game, but the final the first couple hours, a lot of tutorial. There's no real tutorial, so you're really just kind of learning. And I can feel like it might be might not getting it for like what the big thing going on with this game is. But once you get out of like the first two sections and you get into the real meat of the game is when this game it builds and builds and builds, and all the way up to the final battle, the final boss. That whole final section is fucking awesome and fantastic. The last cutscene is great, and I'm not usually a guy like I like getting trophies, achievements. That shit's cool, but what sucks. So you get all but one trophy for beating this game, except for if you find what are called lore stones, which are kind of like audio logs. And it's cool. This game, I think I can't really say it. Norse mythology. I think North. I'm not sure how you pronounce it.
Yeah, Norse mythology. Norse.
Thank you. I can't. I always have trouble pronouncing it or remember how to say it. But anyways, you find these lore stones and then like audio logs. It's one of the other voices in her head, kind of telling you the kind of the mythology of Norse mythology basically, and telling you the backstory, and also builds up some of the bosses and enemies and other things you're going to encounter. Builds that shit up. So if you find all 44 of them in the game, you get an extra scene at the end of the game. And also, that's how you get the platinum, is after beating the game, is finding all those. I missed fucking 2 in the first section of the game. And you can't go back and get them. So, not only did I miss the extra cutscene, I was that close to getting the platinum. So, that's a game I want to platinum, because that's a fantastic game. And I feel like that's a great, getting a platinum in a game like that, where it's not, you go out of your way a little bit to get the shit. I think it's a good way to say you really like that game. So, yeah. One of the best games of the year so far. Sonic Mania is your big surprise of the year. This is my biggest surprise of the year. This floored me when after a couple hours of this game playing it. Fantastic game. But real quick before we get out of here, I almost forgot to do this. Gables, we did Juzzy's bracket last week for 8 favorite franchises. We're gonna do yours this week. So if you can, give me your 8 favorite franchises.
All right, so let's get a couple out of the way first. Mario, Legend of Zelda, Pokemon.
Gotta catch them all.
I know. Metal Gear Solid.
Okay. MGS.
Okay, so that's 4 right there. I'm gonna
4.
be digging deep right here. Just going balls deep here. Castlevania.
Okay.
Let's see, what else do I love here? I know there's some recent franchises I do like too. Uncharted. The Uncharted series, that's 5.
We're at 6 now, actually.
Oh, 6. Yes, 6 we're at. Now I just need to come up with 2 more. Think of a favorite franchises. Final Fantasy.
Okay, 1 more.
Persona,
okay. All right, so we are randomly generating these seeds.
Okay.
So, I don't know. So, here we go. So, damn. Right off the bat, number 1 seed is Zelda versus number 8 seed Uncharted.
Oh, man, that is a good one. Let's see. Oh, boy. There are definitely some good experiences inside the Uncharted series. I mean, I did like my time during Uncharted 4, which I feel is the best of that series, but in the grand scheme of things, even though all the Uncharted games I've played were fun and that they were very good in terms of like what they were.
Uncharted 4 was your game of the year.
I know, Uncharted 4 was my game of the year. Uncharted 1, I think, as a game, like, there were some sections which I didn't like the whole thing with the whole jet ski and stuff, having to ride with Elena, that stuff.
That sucked.
And then, like, on the Vita game and stuff, it was pretty much kind of like in-between game, which didn't really feel up to snuff in terms of maybe even, like... It was maybe, like, a little bit better than Uncharted 1, but not so much as Uncharted 2. But if I had to give it to one of the two, it would have to be the Legend of Zelda series.
Okay.
Why? Because there are many great games in that series that I enjoy. So let's see the next one.
All right. Metal Gear Solid at the number 4 seed against, oh boy, number 5 seed Pokemon. That's gotta hurt. Jesus Christ.
So basically we have a childhood franchise that I grew up with against a game franchise that I played as a teen and got addicted to. Now that is a fucking crazy shit to think of. Because I love the Metal Gear Solid games. I mean, the only game I hadn't played in that franchise, which I really need to do, is MGS5. So, oh my gosh. In terms of quality, man, both franchises have fucking good quality games. Shit.
Yeah.
Gosh, even when I break up like individual games, the Metal Gear Solid and the Pokemon main games, fuck.
This hurts me for you, man.
I know. I know, because I know how good like the original Metal Gear Solid was, and MGS2, even though it was convoluted with some of the story elements with the whole la 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 lo shit, it's like,
oh, the Patriots.
The fucking Patriots.
You can say the Patriots? Oh, cool.
the fucking Patriots. But man, yeah, Metal Gear Solid 3 was fucking amazing, though, with the whole, all the bosses and the story, and me staying up to fucking 6 a.m. playing that shit. But then I have Pokemon, dude, where it's like, some of my favorite games for all time are like fucking Gold and Silver, and then like, collecting all the fucking Pokemon and like Omega Ruby and all that shit. I mean, damn. Well, it had to be one of the two, so I'm going with Pokemon.
Okay. Ooh, man. Damn. Okay. Next up, number 2 seed Persona versus the number 7 seed Final Fantasy.
Okay. Well, even though Persona 4 was definitely the best game, Persona 4 Golden, the best game I played on Vita. Loving Persona 5 so far, but let's see. Oh boy. Final Fantasy, there have been some great games I've played in that series. 4, 5, and 6 were amazing. I mean, even 5, even though the story wasn't as strong. So I'm going to go Final Fantasy over Persona.
Okay. All right, and then last up for the first round, we have the number 3 seed Mario versus the number 6 seed Castlevania.
Oh shit, man! This is fucking harder than what Josie had to face last week, dude.
Oh man, this is
Mario versus Castlevania. I mean, holy shit!
The only way Justin's would have worked out is if Mario and Zelda faced each other in the first round. He got lucky where they met in the finals.
Okay, that would have fucking been entertaining to listen to because he would have been strangling himself trying to think of ways. But let's see, Mario was my introduction to games. Oh boy, Mario 3, Mario World, all the various other types of stuff. Castlevania, I was sort of introduced to late. Some of my favorites of that franchise was Symphony of the Night, and even like some of the older games, like Super Castlevania 4, were amazing. Yeah, fuck, even the Game Boy Advance and the DS games were fucking excellent too. So I really haven't played too many bad games on either side. You know what? I'm going to go with Castlevania over Mario.
Oh, shit. Okay.
And the only reason why I did that is because even though Mario was my introduction to great games and stuff like that, I think in terms of the franchise, the most lasting appeal for me to replay again and again, I'm still constantly playing Castlevania Symphony of the Night almost every single year off and on. I love the DS remakes. I love Aria of Sorrow. I'm still playing Bloodlines and stuff. I play a lot more varied Castlevania games, like more commonly than I do Mario games, where I just play maybe 1 or 2 a year.
Yeah.
So that makes sense to me.
All right. That's the big shocker of the first round. All right,
Yeah.
so second round, final four. We got the number 1 seed Zelda against the number 5 seed Pokemon. Oh shit!
Oh, I'm just laughing at the sheer just thought of it. Thinking it back as I was a teenager, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Wind Waker, Link to the Past, and even probably one of my best games that I've ever played in terms of like Zelda games like Breath of the Wild. You know, those games, man, those mean something right there. Then comparing that to the main Pokemon games and stuff, where I have been playing that series, that franchise off and on since I was fucking 10 years old, dude. It's man. And what's worse is I just played through a Zelda game not too long ago with Breath of the Wild, and I'm gonna be playing another fucking mainline Zelda game. Another mainline Pokemon game pretty soon. I'm gonna go Pokemon.
Oh boy!
I know. It's just barely edged out Legend of Zelda, and I will just say it's just how much I spent just thinking about formulating like strategies and stuff. It's how deep Pokemon is that make me have it more of an edge to say Zelda, where it's like, okay, go through the game and stuff like that. There is replayability through both, but man, there's just a lot more for me just to strategize and do with Pokemon.
Yeah, my testicles hurt for you. Next up in the final semifinal game, we have number 7 seed Final Fantasy against the number 6 seed Castlevania.
So let's see. It's pretty much Final Fantasy versus Castlevania. On one hand, I got Symphony of the Night. On the other hand, I have Final Fantasy VI. Let's see. I haven't played that one in a while. Great games, too. I'm going to go Castlevania over Final Fantasy. Even though Final Fantasy VI is one of my favorite games of all time, I'm going to drift over to the Castlevania series.
Understandable. So before we get to the finals, we're gonna have the bronze medal game here. So we got Zelda, the number 1 seed, versus the number 7 seed Final Fantasy. Who you got?
Legend of Zelda.
Okay,
That's
makes sense.
No brainer.
All right. Yeah. Might be the easiest one you've had so far.
Yep.
And then in the finals, we got Pokemon versus Castlevania, buddy.
It's going to be Pokemon. So basically, we have for the 1, 2, 3 is Pokemon's at number 1, Castlevania's at number 2, and The Legend of Zelda is at number 3.
Yep. And then we had Final Fantasy at number 4. So
man,
not a bad Final Four.
Oh my god, dude! But that was just crazy, especially the fucking matchup with MGS and oh man.
Yeah, you had a Justin had it easy. You had a rough start there, buddy.
Really rough start there. Immediately the first round, I get fucking what was it, Zelda against what now?
Pokemon.
Pokemon is
or you had Zelda versus Uncharted, then Pokemon versus MGS. So.
I chose some good ones.
Yeah, too well. You chose too well, but that was fun. I enjoyed that. That's more what I wanted. Not Justin's goddamn bullshit. Fucking Pikmin. What the fuck's that bullshit?
Pikmin.
Fucking bullshit. Pikmin is adorable, but they're not good games. Anyways, we're gonna head on out of here. We're going a little long. So I want to thank you guys so much for listening. If you want to hear more from us, we're on Facebook with a page and group. Drunk Dash Nerds. Check us out on there by liking and joining us on there. On Twitter, we're at Drunk Nerds Pod. Follow us on there. Best place to go when we post the show if you want to know about it. Those are the 2 places to get the post first. Then on iTunes, obviously Drunk Dash Nerds, we're on there. Drunk Dash Nerds Podcast. Leave us a 5-star review if you could. Subscribe. Leave a nice little comment, please. We really appreciate it if you would. And then also on YouTube, we're Drunk Nerds Podcast. So subscribe to us on there. Almost forgot. Like our videos. The podcast goes up on there as well. Like those if you can. Subscribe, like I said. Also, been doing a lot of streaming lately. We did some Overwatch a couple weeks ago, and then Gables and I did some Destiny last week, and then on this past Thursday night, I did some Overwatch with the guys from Shipwrecked and Talking Ship. So that's on there now. But whenever we do streams, we'll post them on there. And also, speaking of streaming on Twitch, Drunkenness Podcast is where we're at. So just follow us on there and send us friend requests. We like having friends. Friends are nice. They're fun. So check us out all those places. Really appreciate you guys listening to us this week. We'll check you out. We'll be back next week. I was your host. I was Tyler.
And I have been Colonel Gables. So until next week, everyone, game on and have yourself a lovely week.
Hey, Gabe.
Yeah.
Party on.
Party on, Garth.
Yeah! Never thought it'd take 5 weeks to do that, but we did it.
It took 5 weeks to do that. You've been keeping count. I've been saying Bart.
Darth. Like, what's the other guy's name? Wayne, I think? Yes.
Wayne.
Bye, guys.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Few too many beers there. Anyways, we're on iTunes now, so go on there, check us out, and if you like us, leave us a review, and we'll even shout you out. And Jack will send you his credit card number.